Branch stacking, slush funds, lavish credit card bills and cover-ups. This week there have been more claims about the sordid goings-on within one of the unions at the centre of the Royal Commission into Union corruption. The Health Services Union represents some of the most poorly paid workers in the country, yet more than $1 million of their funds have been squandered on branch stacking and personal expenses. The self-styled whistleblower who exposed this was Cathy Jackson, the National Secretary of the HSU. Today, Ms Jackson took the stand for the second day to rebut similar allegations levelled against her. Matt Peacock reports.
You're married to Jeff Jackson! I'm not married to Jeff Jackson!
The media should be big enough to tell the public that they got it wrong. It's not a witch hunt. If anything, it's a vampire hunt.
She's the self-styled corruption buster who went public to expose fraud and misconduct in the Health Services Union.
Anyone in our organisation who misuses union money, be it for, prostitution services or other unauthorised services, has committed a crime.
This is someone who has stood up for what's right.
For the past 3 years, the current National Secretary of the Health Services Union campaigned to expose how her predecessor, Labor MP Craig Thompson, spent union funds on prostitutes, and how the union's former national president, Michael Williamson, rorted more than $1 million of the union's funds.
Mr Williamson, tell us, what do you intend to do with these charges? Will you defend them?
Williamson's now serving a 7.5-year jail term. Thompson got 12 months, but he's appealing.
My concern is those people are still there, people that weren't prepared to stand up and support the rank and file membership, and that's why we look forward to a Royal Commission.
Now it's Cathy Jackson herself who's facing allegations at the Royal Commission into Union corruption about questionable payments.
It is alleged these payments are not authorised by the BCom and were not properly disclosed in the financial accounts provided to Fair Work Australia. Ms Jackson used $1 million in members' funds to pay off 2 personal credit cards between 2000 and 2011. Ms Jackson withdrew approximately $220,000 in cash using HSU bank cheques between 2007 to 2010, and Ms Jackson had some involvement in a slush fund allegedly operating out of or through a company called Naranto No. 10.
Is this all part of this Get Square?
Yeah.
The whole lot?
The whole lot. Every single piece of
like
it.
A double Get Square,
Sorry?
government and your HSU enemies?
Of course. Yeah.
Because you're enemy, you've done nothing wrong.
No. Got nothing to hide.
HSU members are amongst the poorest paid workers in the country. Their officials, including Cathy Jackson, have been amongst the highest paid.
Michael Williamson did introduce higher rates of pay, and my salary did go to $270,000. That was not of my making.
The Commission heard how in 2003 a settlement for underpaid cancer researchers with Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre saw $250,000 paid into a union slush fund, the National Health Development Account, controlled by Cathy Jackson. Money the union is now suing to get back.
Well, if it's an underpayment to members, the members should have received the money, I believe.
The members got their entitlements. The union in their own right sought penalties against their employer for their breaches, and the union got a settlement in relation to those breaches. The union did not take members' money.
Jackson claims all her payments from credit cards and union accounts were duly authorised. The problem is, some of these records have gone missing.
Those documents were taken out of my office by my enemies. I wish those records were there. We heard evidence from the auditor of the organisation. They saw the minutes. They saw the approvals.
And how was her union slush fund used? Jackson gave the Commission an example, how she joined the then Australian Workers' Union Secretary Bill Shorten in financing a Labor Party branch stack. She donated $7,000. Bill Shorten's denied it. Do you regret that now, that you were involved in what's seen by most members of the public as a fairly corrupt play?
Well, Corrupt's going as a bridge too far. As far as I was concerned, and as far as the branch committee of management was concerned, that money had been earmarked as their honorarium, and they could spend that money as they wished.
You said today that most members of the public wouldn't approve this behaviour, and yet you did it. Do you regret that now?
It's not about regretting it. What I say to that is, this is how you play the game. This is how you do business within the union movement and the ALP. Whether I regret it or not, of course I regret it. Of course I regret it. And it's not about regret because of my personal situation. It's regret because this is how the system makes you behave.
Jackson told the Commission she'd become a Labor pariah, subject to malicious litigation and smears that caused a nervous breakdown.
I was sectioned under the Mental Health Act. I had never been under such immense pressure or stress in my whole life. That stress, I say, was caused entirely by the actions of not just the HSU East, but the actions of the National Executive, the actions of the Labor movement at large.
Jackson critics like Craig McGregor now want her evidence to be cross-examined.
Witnesses will be cross-examined in the coming period, and we'll see what falls out of that.
But that day in court may never come. Under this Commission's procedures, Cathy Jackson will only be cross-examined if Commissioner Dyson Hayden decides there's sufficient contrary evidence to justify it.